Every program so far has been one way. Computer talks, you listen. What if it could ask you questions and respond based on your answers? That's input. And once you add input, your programs actually feel alive. Watch how. Output is what the computer shows you. We have been doing that with print and say block in Scratch. Input is what you give to the computer, your name, your age, or it can be your choice. When a website asks you for your username, that's an input. When it shows you your profile, that's an output. So every interactive program in the world uses both. So let's move to Scratch and see how exactly we can make this cat mascot ask us to give us some input. Now, for that, we are going to get started with the event block, which will help me to get started with the program. Once done, we will be using sensing for making sure that we are using this ask block. Now, when you drag this over here, it is going to ask you the question. You are supposed to place a question inside it. Now, question can be anything. What is your age? What is your name? And when it will run, Scratch will pause and wait for your response. Unless and until you don't enter any input from your side, the next code in the sequence won't work. So whatever you type will be stored in a special variable called answer, and that is something we are going to use. So now let's see how we can do that. Now to display that answer, all we are going to do is go to looks, use the say block, and here, as I said, it is a special variable which is already declared over here, and all you have to do is just use this. Now here comes an interesting part. What is your name? That's the question the mascot is asking, and at this block we are going to enter the answer. Well, let's say we are saying Jane. Now when I click enter or maybe click here, it will say Jane. This is how we can add answer given by the user and display it as an output. Now let's talk about how we can do the same thing in Python. So we are going to create a new project over here. Let's say input and select the language. It's gonna be Python and click console and create. Now this is the bridging movement. In Scratch, we saw that we are using an ask block over here, and automatically the answer entered by the user or by us as a user, it is getting stored inside the answer variable. Same goes here also. Here we are going to create a variable now. Let's say name. And how about I name it as answer as well? Answer equals to. Now we have a very important function that will act as this ask block in Scratch. So the input function shows the question, waits for you to type your answer, and store whatever you type into the variable. Like I said, same idea. You are asking, your program is waiting for the response from the user and then storing that response entered by the user. So here, how can we do that? We will be using input, and inside this we will say what is your name with a question mark. Now once this is done, we are going to print the answer given by the user, and to print the output we use print function over here. So now I can combine saying hello, comma, name of the variable which is answer. Now let's try how it goes, and I click on green. It's connecting. What's your name? So here also you will see a placeholder is appearing, and let's enter Jane over here. Press enter and hello Jane. Works perfectly fine. Now you will see it is greeting us, right? So that's the magic of input. The program responds to you specifically. Now input always gives you text even if you type a number. Let's see how. Now, if I try to ask another question, let's say it is going to be age. So let's use input, and here I'm going to say, how old are you? We need to be a little bit more specific when we are doing the codes with Python. Now, I'm simply going to use this print in the next line, and let's say print you are. So this is a string, and we are trying to combine a variable which is storing the age entered by the user, followed by another strings that will help me to complete the sentence. Old. Now, if I try to add something to it, it is not gonna work. Let me show you. Print. And if I try to add a number, suppose I want to add one more year to the existing age. So let's see. if you click on the, so I'm gonna write Jane and it's asking me how old are you. So let's say 10 years, and then I'm getting an error. Error is can only concatenate string, not an integer. So here you can see that we are having a string as well as a variable in the same sentence. So this will give us a type error. So for that, we will have to make sure whenever we take an input, the age is a number. It can be a floating value, it can be an integer value. So we have to make sure that we convert this data type over here in Python into an integer first of all. So how we will do it? We will be using the int function and make sure we are enclosing this input function inside these parentheses. And once we have it, it is going to work perfectly fine now. Now I can increment the value. So all the magic happened because I changed the data type. So let's say 10 years old, and here we go. You are 10 years old. So this is how we use input and output functionality in Scratch as well as in Python. In Scratch, we don't get that much of issue. However, we are going to check how it works in Scratch too. Now, if we try to write the same sentence in Scratch, how we can do it? Because Scratch does not need a specific conversion whenever we are taking any numerical value. So let's see how we can do it. So I'm gonna say that answer is here and I'm going to ask the second question. So let's say ask again, and how old are you? So let's see how it goes. Now I'm going to use the looks, and from there, now here we have a very important operator join, which is used for different purposes, but here if we want to form a string and a variable together, let's see how it goes. You are, so this is one string that we have, and then I'm gonna go to sensing, get the variable which is storing the value entered by the user. Now let's see. Jane, first question, second question is going to be 10, and here we go. In Scratch, it is not that much complicated, we can say. However, in Python also it's not complicated. All you have to do is make sure you are keeping in mind that whenever you're using Python, you need to make sure if the input is in the form of any numerical value, make sure to convert it into the required data type so that you do not get any sort of type error. So to put this concept in practice, let's create a mini project. I would like to call it as mini interview project. So for that, let's do one thing. I'm going to use the events block quickly, and then I'm going to use looks and display the text. Let's say mini interview. This is done. Now this is, here we have to take 4 inputs from the user. One is going to be what is their name, second is going to be their age, their city, and the hobby. Now, as you already know that we do have this answer block which will help us to save the input given by the user. It will work well when we have only one input, but now we have 4 inputs from the user and we need to store them separately so that they don't overlap. So for this, we are going to make sure that we create 4 different variables for each one of the input. Now how can we do it? We go to variables, make a variable block and name it name. So this is going to be the first. So what is your name? So whatever user will enter as name, we need to make sure we are using it here. We don't want this name to be displayed over this or any variable to be displayed. So make sure you uncheck this box. Now set name to name. No, we don't want to set it to name. We want to set it to the answer block. So if you have the name entered by the user, it will be stored inside the name variable. So let me just quickly duplicate this portion. And here we are simply going to ask, how old are you? Question mark. And instead of name, we need to create another variable which is going to be age. Now, for each one of them, we are creating a different variable because we do have different data. Now, let's duplicate it one more time. And this time, I need to rewrite it to what city are you from? So for this, again, I don't need this age variable. I need to create a new one. So let's name it as city. Now here we have it, and let's select city over here. Now let's duplicate it one more time and display it here. Now the fourth question that we have is, what is your hobby? So again, we have the question, but again, we need another variable, which is going to be our last hobby. Now this is done. Here we go. Now it's time to display all the text entered by the user. So for that, let's go to looks and use say hello. And I'm simply going to write here your profile. So this is going to tell us the answer now. So for this, I'm going to use say hello. And if you want to combine the string as well as an integer in the same line, sorry, the variable in the same line, you can use join over here. So let's say name, give some space. Now we are not going to add answer to it. We have the separate variables, isn't it? So let's add name, and I'm simply going to duplicate it. And then instead of name, I'm going to replace it with age. And instead of name variable, all you have to do is just make changes over here. Now let's duplicate this one too. And now instead of age, we need the city. No need to have the variable name age. Now let's replace it with city. The last one to go is going to be the hobby. So let's go hobby, and instead of city, let's exchange it with hobby. Now this is something we will get, and the second and the last one, sorry, is going to be thank you for your information. Let's write. Let's be a little bit generous. Thank you for your interest. Or maybe response. Okay, so if you see, we did this in Scratch. Now, how about we do the same thing in Python? So for Python, I am simply going to keep these two variables over here. I already have this variable too. I don't need to redefine them. Name, input, age, and let's name the variable saying the city name is also going to be a string. So that's why no need to convert it into another data type. So let's name what city are you from? Another question. And then let's say hobby, input, and say what is your hobby? What is your hobby? Now once you have that, all I need to do is just simply print them now. Print. But make sure you are using quotation marks. Your profile. So here we go. We are ready. All I have to do is here now to combine. So now we need to just simply print them. Name, comma. Now make sure you are using the variable name out of the quotation marks. Otherwise, the variable name will also get treated as a string, and we don't want that. So let's go ahead and say print. Let's say age, and the variable name age, followed by print, and let's say city, comma, city, and the last one is going to be the hobby. So let's say hobby, colon, comma, hobby. Make sure the variable name is out of the string, because if you include it inside the string, it is going to be name. We don't want that. We want the actual value that reside in this variable. And the last, let's just combine all of them together. We would say in 10 years, you will be, this is another string, comma, age, plus 10. So I'm incrementing a value over here in the variable, and years. Okay, just all right. So let's just print the last value, which is going to be thank you for your interest. Alrighty, it's time to see what did we do. Now let me click on Scratch mini interview. Let me just increase the size of this cat. Now Jane, age is 10. Let's say San Diego. And what's your hobby? I would say playing guitar. And here we go, your profile. It's gonna display name Jane. 2 seconds gap is happening over here. Age, city San Diego, and hobby playing guitar. And at the end, thank you for your interest. Now let's see how it works with the Python. When we click on the green button, let's hit the run. Starting code, what is your name? It's gonna say Jane. And how old are you? 10. And which city are you from? Let's say San Diego. And then what are your hobbies? Playing guitar. And here we go, the same output. As you can see, we do have the same output over here. Nothing different. So this is how it works. Now I have a challenge for you. Add one more question that asks for your favorite food and print a sentence like Alex loves pizza and lives in your city. So comment your output. Next video is going to be about if statements, which will let your program make decisions. Hope you like this video. I will see you in the next one. Make sure to attempt that challenge. Bye.